Hi, my name is Sonia, and today we are going to take a quick look at the installation and basic setup of Smart Sign 3, the multi-screen studio signage solution by Broadcast Radio. Let's start by heading to the Broadcast Radio website, www.broadcastradio.com, and click on the Support option followed by the Software Support and Downloads option. Select Smart Sign from the menu to access the dedicated Smart Sign support page. Click on the Downloads link and then download the latest version of Smart Sign 3. We will also need to install the Broadcast Radio Hardware Service V6 software, unless you already have it installed, that is, so we might as well scroll down to the related software downloads section and click on the BR Hardware Service button to download that to the same location. Run the Smart Sign 3 installer application and follow the on-screen instructions to complete the installation process. If you do not have the hardware service configured, you will need to do this before you will be able to trigger smart display tiles in Smart Sign 3 to show information like when your microphones are live or a button is pressed. In this example, we will add a virtual hardware device to allow us to simulate a hardware input for setup purposes. The BR hardware service is covered in more detail in separate documentation. If you have not already licensed your Smart Sign 3 software, you will be prompted to enter a license as part of the startup procedure. You can click on Continue Evaluation to allow you to try out Smart Sign 3 without a license, but only for a limited period. Smart Sign 3 will automatically start in active display mode, showing the default configuration as seen here. Once you have customized your Smart Sign 3 displays, these will be used next time the software starts. The default layout includes a main digital clock tile showing UK time, plus 3 additional digital clock tiles showing times in Abu Dhabi, New York and Sydney. There is also a date-time tile, 3 smart display tiles showing on-air and microphone status, and finally a smart display tile that is not triggered by an external factor, used to display the station name. To edit the layout, add new tiles or even add an extra display screen, right-click anywhere on the background of the display to enter edit mode. The edit mode allows you to create a smart sign display by positioning tiles on a grid. There are a range of tiles available to allow you to show different information on the display. Each tile can be customized to change the information, appearance, size, and position. You can also adjust the spacing between tiles as well as the number of rows and columns to create a unique layout for your Smart Sign 3. Finally, you can add additional displays to show different information on different screens around your station. The number of displays you can create is determined by your Smart Sign 3 license. One of the most versatile tiles in Smart Sign 3 is the Smart Display tile. Smart Display tiles are text-based tiles that can respond to external inputs to change the text and colors displayed. This could be a hardware input from your mixing desk or a user clicking on the tile. The most common use for this is to display the microphone status in a studio, to warn presenters and guests when microphones are live. This typically is achieved by the studio mixing console signaling that the microphone channels are active by way of either a digital or physical hardware trigger. Smart Sign uses the free Broadcast Radio Hardware Service software, which we installed and set up earlier in this video, as the interface between compatible mixing desks, hardware I/O devices and other broadcast radio software. We will be adding a new smart display tile later in this video, so the first thing we will do is tell Smart Sign 3 the location of the BR hardware service, and which hardware interface to use. Click on the App Settings button, and then tick the option labeled, Use GPIO with a broadcast radio hardware server. Click the Change button, then type in the IP address of the PC running the hardware service, localhost in this case as the service is running on the same PC, and then select the hardware device to use. In this example we will use the virtual hardware device we set up earlier. With that done, we can start to build the Smart Sign 3 display we want to use. You can use the left mouse button to change the size of tiles and reposition them on the grid. You can also view and edit the settings for a tile by either double-clicking on it or selecting it and pressing the Edit Tile button. Each tile has a unique settings window, although elements such as header, appearance, and footer are common to all tiles. Let's add a new tile to our display. Select the position of the new tile, and then click on the Add Tile button. You can now select the type of tile you want to add. Let's quickly run through the options. Analog clock adds a traditional analog clock. Audio monitor adds VU bars driven directly from compatible mixing consoles or via our free audio monitor software. Countdown allows you to start, stop, and reset a countdown clock using virtual or physical hardware triggers. Date time tiles allow you to add formatted date and time information. The digital clock tile displays time in a digital format and has the option to display seconds as 60 pips arranged in a circle around the time. Google Analytics can be used to display basic web statistics. The Images tile can display a single image or a rotating carousel of images. The Media tile allows you to display media feeds such as video from a webcam or an audio stream. Myriad Logging Monitor can show the status of your Myriad logging system. The Now Playing tile shows the now playing information from Myriad Playout and other compatible systems. RSS feeds can be used to display the latest information from news services or other RSS-based information services. Smart Display tiles can be used to display information that changes based on external inputs such as digital or physical hardware triggers. The Time as Words tile will display the time in pre-formatted, easy-to-read words. The Weather tile can display a summary of weather information for your location. Finally, the YouTube tile can display a video hosted on YouTube. Let's add a new Smart Display tile. Now we need to set up the Smart Display tile. Make sure it is selected and then click on the Edit Tile button. All tiles have an optional header section and a corresponding optional footer section at the bottom of the tile settings window. This allows you to add a label above or below the tile. Click on the Edit button in the header or footer sections to set text, color, and font. All tiles also have an Appearance section, which allows you to set basic appearance options, such as background color, shape, corner radius, and border properties. The Center section is unique for each type of tile and includes all the settings and options for the specific tile. Some tile types only have one or two options, others, like this Smart Display tile, have many more options. The default layout has Smart Display tiles for microphones 1 and 2, so let's add a Smart Display tile that shows the status of a third microphone, which is controlled by line 3 on the virtual hardware device. In a real studio application, this would normally be patched to a physical or digital hardware output from the mixing console, using the patch bay built into the hardware service. For testing, we can use the Hardware Service Monitor application to simulate the microphone being switched on and off. Let's begin. Start by adding the default text. This is the text that will be displayed when no hardware lines are active. You can also set position, font size, and font color, using the foreground color. The preview shows a review of what the tile will look like. Let's change the background color to a dark red and the foreground, or font color to be black. The background color is set in the Appearance section, as this is the appearance when no hardware lines are active. The foreground color is in the Smart Display section. Change any other settings such as font size and position as required. Next we are going to add an entry into the GPIO section, which will tell Smart Sign how to display this Smart Display tile when line 3 is active on the virtual hardware card. Scroll down to the GPIO section and click on the Add GPIO line button. First, select the GPIO line that you want to use to trigger this design. You can add multiple designs to a single Smart Display tile to react differently when different hardware lines are active. In this example, we want the Smart Display tile to change when line 3 on the virtual hardware device is active, so select line 3 from the drop-down list. Next, type in the text you want displayed when this hardware line is active. You can also set the font position and size. Use the color selectors to set the background and foreground, or font colors. As this is a mic live warning, we will use bright red with white text. Take some time to explore the other options when building your own smart sign display. Click on the Apply button to apply your settings. Most tiles will display a preview on the Edit View grid. Let's resize this tile, then we can test it out. Immediately, we can see there is an issue. The font is left aligned, but we ideally want it center aligned. To fix this, double-click on the tile and change the alignment setting in the Appearance section. To switch from edit mode to the live display, click on the Go button in the bottom right-hand corner. To test the new Smart Display tile, we will use the Broadcast Radio Hardware Service Monitor software application to simulate a hardware input. This software is automatically installed when the hardware service is installed. To simulate a hardware event, just click on line 3 to enable and disable the virtual hardware line. As you can see, the Smart Display tile indicates that microphone 3 is live, as we intended. It is worth taking some time to explore the options on the other tiles available in Smart Sign 3 to allow you to get the best from your system. Now that we know the basics, let's take a look at setting up a second display. In this example, we will add a second display that is focused on news content to be displayed in our studio. The number of displays you can use is determined by your Smart Sign 3 license. The evaluation we are using allows a maximum of 2 displays. If you want to add more displays to your Smart Sign 3 system, contact our sales team and they will be happy to help. To add a new display, click on the Add Display button. You will be asked whether you want to copy the contents of the currently selected display to the new display. This is very useful if we want to duplicate a lot of the content, but in this scenario, the tiles we want to use are different to the tiles on this display, so it will be easier to say no and start with a blank grid. In the Displays section, we now have displays A and B listed. To switch to display B, simply click on it to select it. The first thing you will notice is that the grid for display B has less rows and columns than the default layout. You can adjust the amount of rows and columns by clicking on the Edit Display button and adjusting the row and column count accordingly. You can also set the default background color and the spacing between rows and columns. Okay, let's start building our new display. To start with, I want to add an RSS feed tile to display the latest headlines from the BBC. You can, of course, use any RSS-based information feed. Select where you want the RSS feed to go, and then click on Add Tile, or simply double-click on the grid where you want to place a tile. Select RSS feed from the list of available tiles. You can drag the tile to the correct size and position in the grid. To edit the settings, you can either double-click on the tile, or select the tile and click on the Edit Tile button. Paste in the location of the RSS feed XML file that you want to use for this tile, and make any other adjustments you like, to font size, colors, etc. You will be able to see a preview of the feed as soon as you click on Apply. The next tile I want to add is a YouTube tile which will display the Sky News TV channel. Once again, double-click where you want to position the tile, and select the YouTube tile from the list. Use the mouse to size and position the YouTube tile, and then double-click to access the tile settings window. Paste in the YouTube ID for the video you want to play, and tick whether the audio should be muted on the video. When you are happy, click Apply. Please note that YouTube preview videos are not displayed in the edit grid. Next, let's add a weather summary tile. This is a little more complicated as we need to set up a openweathermap.org account and get an API key to allow Smart Sign to access weather information. Openweathermap.org offers a free account that will be suitable for most stations. We also need to set a location so that Smart Sign can display the correct weather for our local area. Double-click to add a new tile and select Weather from the list. Drag the tile to the correct size, then double-click, or use the Edit Tile button, to open the settings for the tile. First, we need to set the location so that the weather for our local area is displayed. If you know your latitude and longitude, then you can type or paste them in directly. You can also use the online location search link to open a web page that can determine your latitude and longitude coordinates. As we are in the UK, we can also determine location using the UK postcode lookup option from the drop-down list, typing in the UK postcode and clicking on the Find Location button. Next, paste in the openweathermap.org API key and set the parameters for the information you want the weather tile to display. It may take a little trial and error to get the font sizes correct for the size of the weather tile. Clicking Apply will allow you to see a preview of the weather tile in the grid, so you can adjust the font sizes accordingly. To complete the new display, we will add a date and time tile and a time as words tile to help the presenter on date and time checks. Double-click to open the list of available tiles and scroll to the date and time tile. Resize and double-click on it to edit the settings. We can change the font size to make it more visible, but we can also change the information displayed. The date and time tile uses a coded date format. You can see the options by clicking on the information icon. By default, it will display the date in the format the 4th of September, 2024, which is represented by the code DDMMMYYYY. The list of options for date formatting included a day of the week, which is represented by DDDD. So if we add DDDD to the date format, the displayed date would change to Wednesday the 4th of September, 2024. Click on the Apply button and close the settings window to see the changes. Finally, repeat the process of adding a new tile, but this time select the Time as Words tile. Resize the tile and the display is complete. To view the completed display, click on the Go button in the bottom right-hand corner. Not bad, but there are a couple of tweaks we could do to make it look better. Right-click on the display to return to edit mode. Firstly, let's increase the spacing between the tiles. Click on the Edit Display button and adjust the tile margin value. Next, let's enable a white border around the weather tile. Edit the tile and set a border color and thickness. Let's see how that looks. I think it would be better to have the date and time above the weather tile, and the font size on the Time as Words tile needs increasing. So let's do that. We want to move the weather tile to below the two time and date related tiles. The easiest way is to select the weather tile and click on the Copy Tile button. We can now delete the weather tile and move the other two tiles up. While we are here, we should increase the font on the Time as Words tile by double-clicking to enter settings and adjust the font size accordingly. Finally, we can paste the weather tile into its new position on the grid. I think we will add a header to the weather tile to separate it from the time. Double-click on the weather tile to enter the settings window. Enable the header and add in the text for the header. Don't forget to set the font size, color, and position. Click on the Go button to view the finished display. You can use your Smart Sign 3 to create a wide range of information displays using multiple tiles across several screens. I hope this tutorial has given you the skills you need to explore the other tiles and create exciting and informative displays for your studio and radio station.
For more video tutorials and help articles, visit our help portal using the link below, or check out our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and happy broadcasting.